Hi everyone! It's been over a year since I've done a tank update, so I just wanted to say hello and tell you guys what's been going on. A lot has happened in the last year. I was working for Marine Depot and I loved it there. I did some customer service, I was a CSR, and I also did some content creation, article writing and video scripts, things like that. My bosses, Manny and Christian, were always there for me. They were always super sweet and nice and accommodating, and I love and miss them. But as you know, they were acquired by Bulk Reef Supply, and that was a decision from the owner of Marine Depot. He sought out that deal, so we have no hard feelings with BRS. They've been really good to the Marine Depot CSRs that went over to them. I had the opportunity to go over to BRS, and I would have, but I'm a stay-at-home mom and I was working part-time and I wasn't on the phones, and you know, Marine Depot made a lot of accommodations to have me there, and I appreciated that so much. I didn't really talk to Bulk Reef Supply about it, but I got the impression, like my perception of BRS was, you know, they're very fair and equal to everyone across the board. You know, like sort of like, hey, our CEO starts in the mailroom. Everyone starts in the mailroom. We treat everyone the same and equally. So I didn't feel right asking them to make accommodations for me. Like, hey, can you make me part-time? I can never be on the phones because they have screaming kids in the background. I didn't want to ask them to make unfair accommodations for me when everybody else has to do the same thing that I'm not doing. So instead, I had an opportunity to go to Biota. Biota Aquariums, the Biota group, they are a company that aquacultures fish and coral, and it's absolutely incredible what they're doing. They're the ones that breed the yellow tangs in captivity. So I've been working with Biota for the past 6 months or so, and I'm really happy, and they're a lot of fun, and what they're doing is absolutely amazing. They're culturing the yellow tangs, breeding them in captivity. They're spawning them in captivity, raising the babies from eggs. It's incredible. And they also aquaculture some really incredible species like Squarespot Anthias. Who would have thought that, you know, someday we'd have aquacultured Squarespot Anthias that eat pellets right out of the shipping bag. You know, 5 minutes after I got these guys, they were eating pellets, which is amazing to me, because the wild ones do terribly and they almost never eat in captivity. They're breeding a lot of little gobies and nano gobies and CoralVue angelfish, rabbitfish. That's pretty neat. They produce a lot of rabbitfish that they then release back into the wild because they are a popular food fish in Palau. So anyway, I'm just kind of excited to see what happens with Biota, because I think that they're not only changing aquaculture, they're changing the aquarium industry as a whole and maybe the world. So I want to be there when that happens and help them out along the way. So I'm not going to be making a very professional video. If you want to see me on a professional YouTube channel, I'm going to put some links in the comments below for like Reef Beef with Ben and Rich. I was on Melove's Reefs a couple months ago. Humble Fish. Jake from Biota and I went on Humble Fish a few months ago and talked about a lot of Biota stuff. So you're going to want to check that out. And then I did a Mad Hatters a while ago. So I'll put those in the links, you know, if you want to see real professional stuff. But here's my reef tank update. I don't have a whole lot of time to spend on this reef because, like I said, I have 2 really little kids and tons of doctor appointments all the time. So I also, obviously I'm reefing on a major budget because I work part-time from home, so I spend very, very little money on this tank, and I get by on the help of friends. My friend Anthony Plasters, he gave me these lights, I got some radions, and his old Vortex, and where's Photobomb? The Joculator Angelfish. He gave me that wherever he is. And a lot of my corals were donations, or he didn't consider them to be donations, but yeah, I gave him a budget and I said, pick out some coral for me, and then he just sent me way too much stuff like he does. It was Joe at Iconic Aquariums. He's my coral guy, I trust him, so he hooked me up with a lot of really great stuff here. And Biota, of course, they send me some fish models, baby models sometimes, so that I have something to photograph. And I hope who am I forgetting? Who else do I, oh, my friend Brandy gave me these jawbreaker mushrooms, Brandy Villarico. There's Photobomb. And of course Jemmy. I got Jemmy from the TSM Reefapalooza raffle a few years ago. I think it's been almost exactly 3 years now, a little over 3 years. So thanks to everybody who makes my reef possible. It's kind of you to help out a little old lady with a couple of kids. So, oh, and CoralVue. CoralVue donated a Camaware X4 Pro a few years ago. My friend RickyFins gave me the skimmer, and oh, a whole bunch of corals in here. He's RickyFins Aquatics. He works for BRS. He's a great guy. So thanks everybody for making all of this possible. I'm sure if I had $1 million, I'd have a much nicer tank, but you get to enjoy, and I get to enjoy, and my kids get to enjoy this. So the lights are just starting to go out. So let's take a video with actinic lights. The Zoa garden is starting to close up for the night. That's my Fascination Favia from Iconic Aquariums. And I have some Palau Acropora from Biota Aquariums that are growing very nicely for me. And this is my red Monicap. This is from the Reef Bowl originally. And it's way too big. I have to chop it up all the time. If I didn't chop it up, it'd be about 3 times that big. It's a green Hulk Acropora. It's another Palau Acropora. And we have a couple frags on a frag rack. These are all for my parents. I collect them for them. This is my Biota clam. It's starting to get sleepy for the night. That's my Duraza. I have a little Crocea down here. And Anthony gave me that beautiful orange mushroom. It's a Recordia Yuma. And that has a couple babies. There's one of my Trichophilia. This trachea is all closing up for the night. It's one of my button corals, Scalimea vidiensis. And there's a red, used to be Scully, I guess it's Homophilia now. And I love this one. That's my Symphilia wilsoni from Australia. And Bernardipora red flower pot from Iconic Aquariums. This one's, I think he said it was rainbow something or other. And he gave me, this is a something apple, I don't know, candy apple monopora, something like that. Got bird's nest here. Another pretty Lobo from Iconic Aquariums. There's a burning banana Styloconiella. Acan Lord, I guess they're Micromusa now. And here's my plate. I've had this guy for quite a while. He was in the bowl. When I first put this in the bowl, it was about the size of a dime, and now it's bigger than my hand. There's my Cyphastrea. I just had to move this one because it was starting to eat my big Trichophilia, and that's unacceptable. So I had to scrape it off the floor with a scraper. It was about a foot in diameter all around. The Cyphastrea, just thick Cyphastrea growth. And so I put it next to this Raja Rampage that Anthony gave me. And I have a feeling Raja here is going to keep the Cyphastrea in check. And then behind the Cyphastrea we have a war coral, Favites pentagona. You can't see it very well, but it's there. And this is one of my favorite pieces. This is my Mummy Eye Chalice. I got this from Macna in New Orleans in 2017. And it died when I was in the hospital with my baby a few years ago, but it's slowly recovered, and I grew it from pretty much one eye that survived and grew it into this. It's about hand size, maybe a little bigger than hand size. Got another little chalice here, some pink bubble gum or something. Then I have some, what are these called again? They're supposed to be some kind of special mushroom. I'm gonna have to pause it so I can think. Yeah, I can't think of the name of these mushrooms, and it's gonna drive me crazy, but they're very special. These were given to me by my friend Brandy Villarico. And I started growing some, I think we called these reverse Superman before too, back in the day. And another Palau Acro. This one is a Valida. So I just kind of put it on the same rock as my other Valida. I really love this Valida because my friend was fragging it years and years ago, and he had a couple of little nubbins in the bottom of the bin, and I asked him if I could just bring the nubbin home, and he said, well, why don't I just cut you a piece? And I said, no, I really want to rescue that nubbin. So I did. It was super, super tiny, like a 1/4 of an inch long, and I brought it home, put it on a frag plug, and now it's that. And I can still see the frag plug on the rock. Here's another Palau Acro that's doing really well for me. I think this one is a Microclados, but don't quote me on that. And then we have another really nice Palau Acro back here. I want to say that one's Austera. And this one's hard to see because it's already so blue. But this is Tony's Blue Cookie Monster. My friend Anthony, aka Tony Plasters, he grew this. It's a Hoaxamai back in 2012, I think. I remember seeing them more often back then, but I don't know why we don't see them come in anymore. But luckily we have these. It's super slow growing. We got a Setosa here. I damaged it a little bit the other day when I was cleaning, so right around this area, but it's fine. It'll grow back. I don't know, these mushrooms I got from a frag swap a long time ago. And these gorgonians are out of this world. They just never stop growing. They're hard to see. I'll show them to you again in the daylight. So, yeah, there's a little nighttime actinic tour. We'll get some more video. Oh, and how can we forget the red planet? Got a frag of that from my local shop maybe a couple years ago. And it's doing really well. I love this one. So there's that. Chalice. Yep. Oh, and this guy. Gotta love neon green cabbage leather. Who doesn't love neon green cabbage leather? If you say you don't, you're lying. They're awesome. It's got some Rastazoas. I forget what these are. Orange something or other, I don't know. Some Wham and watermelons. Some pink ones. Let's see. Sunny D's. My favorite Acropora from Palau. Thanks, Biota. So here we are in the morning. There's Jemmy, and that's Photobomb. Jemmy came from Reefapalooza in 2017 or 2018, I can't remember. I think 2018. And I won him from TSM Aquatics. They had a raffle. And it was one of the best days of my life. And here we have Anthias. These are actually Biota Squarespot Anthias from Biota. They're captive bred, which is crazy to me. And they ate pellets like 5 minutes after I pulled them out of the bag. Photobomb's being shy. Oh, here's the other Anthias. Everyone's being shy. I should feed them. Here's Photobomb. My friend Anthony, Tony Plasters, gave me this fish last year when he tore his tank down. And he's just been a wonderful little pet. I love him so much. I'm going to feed everybody. So these are the foods I usually feed my fish in the 90 gallon. And I also give Jemmy his seaweed. This is the seaweed I give Jemmy. I'm going to feed him first, actually. So what I do is fold this into 4 pieces, and I put it on his clip. This is a magnetic Two Little Fishies clip, which is awesome because I have a whole graveyard full of suction cup clips, and I just got tired of those. These magnetic clips are the way to go. So if you don't know, if you don't know what Jemmy is a Gem Tang, Zebrasoma gemmatum, and they at one point were an incredibly rare species of fish that came only from Mauritius, and they used to be around $3,500 back when I first started out in the hobby, and they were super rare. But recently they started to bring them in from Madagascar, and that brought the price down significantly. You can get them for $800 retail now, which is great. That's, you know, only as much as like a black tang or some of the other similar in price to like some of the other low price, I call them low price, but medium price tangs maybe. Where is Photobomb? There's Photobomb. I'm gonna have to give him some pellets if we want him to come out. Okay, I think they see me and they're ready. These Anthias go crazy over the pellets. It's hilarious. Wild-caught Squarespot Anthias do not act like this, I'll tell you that. Everyone I've ever worked with at work, I never tried one at home because they were just, I just didn't want to, I didn't feel right doing that. I didn't feel right having a wild-caught Squarespot Anthias when I knew chances were I probably wouldn't be able to get them to eat, even though I've gotten, you know, seahorses and pipefish to eat just fine. But they're just so delicate and hard to get to eat whenever they're wild caught. But these captive bred Squarespot Anthias are bulletproof. Unbelievable. I don't know what Photobomb is doing. He doesn't like the camera, which is funny because his name is Photobomb because he's always seen in the background or right in the front of whatever thing you're trying to photograph. Here he comes. And Photobomb is a Joculator Angelfish. They come from Cocos Keeling usually. And they're not easy to get these days. Here he comes. But you would think, okay, is it crazy? I have a dwarf angelfish here with acants, Lobophilia, and Homophilia scallies, my Symphilia wilsoni, and there's a piece of algae floating, great, and Trichophilia, clams. Yes, I have a dwarf angel with all these tasty dwarf angel foods, but he's fine. Joculator angelfish are less likely than other dwarf angels to eat your coral, and so far this guy has been 100% reef safe, and he's a couple years old now. So here's the Zoa garden, my Blastos in the back. The Sunny D's are starting to open for the day. And my giant gorgonians are starting to open. I prune entire colonies off of these gorgonians like once a month, and you can't even tell I cut them at all. They grow too much. Here's the war coral that's hard to see. And this is a sun-kissed Oxypora chalice. You would think that it would get brighter putting it under brighter light, but I had it up here directly under the puck and it turned green, like an ugly green. So I moved it back down here and it's actually starting to turn sun-kissed orange again. Hopefully it will turn orange. But the Mummy Eye Chalice is supposed to be in super bright light. Like, I keep this one right under the puck and it keeps its yellow color. It's almost turning like a deep orange yellow now. I love this one. But when you keep it under lower light, it turns more green. Here's another look at the Biota Aquariums. Oh, and I remembered what these mushrooms are called. These are called jawbreakers. Let me get a better view of those. These are the jawbreakers. Yeah, there we go. And one of them has a nice green stripe going through it. I hear those are pretty sought after. But and my friend Brandy gave me these. Well, she gave me a couple little baby ones a couple years ago, and now they are this. And she lost her tank last year, I think, and so I'm going to be sending a baby home to her pretty soon. Some more of those Biota Aquariums. Let's see. There's the Velita. I love this one. Love my Velita. Grew it from such a tiny piece. Yeah. I can be really sentimental, even though, you know, things don't have a lot of value. To me, they have value just because I've been with them for so long. And Sunny D's. I have these in all my tanks. And this stupid Cyphastria, I scrub it with a toothbrush and it still comes back. I'm trying to keep it from growing over my zoas because it actually killed a bunch of my watermelon zoas last year. There's my Rasta. I forget what these orange ones are. Cabbage. Here's that red planet. It's hard to see. I love this piece too. I don't know where to put it though. I struggle with, you know, I'm running out of room here and I don't really have a good place to put this, so I'm just kind of gonna allow it to grow on the wall. I have one of those magnetic plugs and it's just growing on the wall, whatever. Giant money cat, a red money cat. Tony thinks I should get rid of this one because it takes up space and it's just not that valuable, but I really like it. And I've had it for so long. I don't really want to part with it. And here's some more of those Palau acros. This one I think is a, wow, this thing is really not clear, is it? Okay. This one's a Joculator, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, don't quote me on that. I love this piece. This is probably my favorite. And then we have Striata. They're kind of like a skinny tenuous, but this piece is really crazy in person. It's hard to see, but the axial corallites have a neon yellow ring, and it's like blue and purple. It reminds me of like a cross between a loripes and an echinata. It's just gorgeous. Yep. There's a couple more acros that are growing out. That's a frag of that sun-kissed oxypora. That's more of what it's supposed to look like with that orange. But that's a new frag, so it's just starting to do stuff. There's a, I think that's a sunset Monty. Do we call that a reverse Superman back in the day? I don't know. I think that's red ants. Red ants Monty. I gotta get that off the tray soon because it's gonna grow over the tray and be annoying. Here's another Palau acro. This one's a really tall staghorn. I'm excited to see what it does because I have no idea what it is. And got a couple of frags for my parents' tank. I like to grow stuff for their tank. And some mummy eye chalice growing for my parents. There's a red planet frag that I'm growing for my parents. That piece was a piece that was on the wall, on the back wall, and it just fell off. So I said, hey, I'm gonna glue it down, give it to my parents. So what else can we look at? I love this guy. I've had this plate coral since it was about the size of a dime. My friend Ricky gave them to me. And now it's hand size, bigger than my hand. I love it. So I know this is a bad idea, but I got a T5 supplement off Amazon for like 20 bucks. It even came with bulbs, but I replaced one with an ATI Coral Plus. And yes, this is the T5 supplement. When this thing comes on, it is like so bright. And these are my lights. These are Generation 2 Radions. I know they're old, but you know what? They work, and they work really well. These came from my friend Anthony, and what else? I have a few super old Vortec pumps. 2 of these are Gen 1 and 1 is Gen 2. Now that's funny because my Gen 2, this one's off right now because the wet side is acting up and it won't stop making the dry sides, or the dry. And I also have 3 Vortec pumps. These are really old though. They, 2 of them are Gen 1, I think, and 1 of them is Gen 2. The Gen 2 dry side has been acting up. I replaced parts on the wet side and that didn't help. It just spins and spins, and then it just destroys the impeller shaft inside. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that one. Yeah, this is the one that's been acting up, and I'm pretty irritated by it. And then I have 2 of these. You haven't seen this in a while, have you? It's pretty old, but guess what? It works perfectly. And this right here is a Wyze Cam, W-Y-Z-E, and it has a frame that it sticks into, so I can watch my fish from my phone anytime. So this is my dosing pump. It's a Camor F4 Pro. This was actually donated by CoralVue a couple years ago, and I really like it. The app was a little bit glitchy at first, but I've gotten used to it and it works like a charm. My parameters are always perfect. I've been using ESV Bionic. This right here is my state-of-the-art auto top-off system. It's a 5-gallon bucket with an aqua lifter pump that I bought in Wisconsin in the year 2006. But hey, it works. I have it connected to one of those smart sockets, so it turns on for a specific amount of time every day, and it works great. I have an eShop skimmer. I can't remember what model this is. It doesn't say. Wow, I need to clean it though. So there's my eShop skimmer, and then I have my pump is a Max Spec Jump pump. I really like it. It kind of, you can make it ramp up and ramp down just like real reef flow. And wow, I really need to clean my controller. It's got salt creep all over it. And then I have this fan for the summer when it gets hot. Probably need to replace that. That's my Ink Bird controller that controls the heat and the cooling. It's a little dirty right now, but I have one of these nifty flipper magnifying glasses. So overall, I know this is pretty standard, basic reef tank, but I am reefing on a major budget. I work from home part-time and I have 2 little kids. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I'm able to do all of this on an extremely low budget. And I'm sure if I had $1 million, my tank would look a lot better, but I love it just the way it is. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section.